Welcome back to the deep dive. This time, we're taking a little journey into the future of work. Specifically, we'll be looking at the HR landscape, as it's predicted to be in 2025. Our source for this deep dive is a really interesting podcast called HR Insights 2025. So think about this for a second. Imagine a workplace where AI helps you navigate the job market and where your benefits are specifically, tailored to your own needs. It might sound a little bit like science fiction, but honestly, it's closer than you think.
First stop on this journey, the AI revolution. And we're not just talking about automating a few tasks here and there. We're talking about fundamentally changing how HR operates. The impact of this is going to be predicted to be pretty huge, especially when we look at talent acquisition. Imagine for a second, AI-powered systems sifting through tons of resumes every second, but not just based on keywords or anything like that. These systems are using really complex algorithms to analyze skills, experience, even personality traits, all to find the absolute best candidates for certain roles. Now, this brings up a really interesting question.
Can algorithms really get rid of bias completely? Some experts think that, yeah, by taking out that human subjectivity, AI can create a more level playing field. But then others argue that AI can actually pick up on existing biases and even make those biases worse, especially if the data it learns from is already skewed. It's a complex issue for sure, and something that really needs to be thought about carefully as AI starts to play a bigger role in hiring. But even with the most advanced AI out there, let's not forget about the human element, especially when it comes to things like building relationships, assessing cultural fit, or even understanding those subtle aspects of someone's personality, those things that you just can't get from a resume or an algorithm. The future of talent acquisition is probably going to be a mix. We'll have the efficiency of AI, but we'll also need that good old-fashioned human judgment. Speaking of AI, let's think about how it's ready to change employee development. We all know how important it is to keep learning, especially with technology moving so fast these days. By 2025, it's predicted that something like half of all jobs will need some kind of reskilling. And that's where AI comes in. Picture this, personalized learning platforms powered by AI that can figure out where your skills are lacking. And then they can pick out training content just for you. And they can even change how fast you learn based on how you're doing. It's kind of like having your own personal tutor available 24/7, guiding you as you grow professionally. And AI doesn't stop there. Imagine getting feedback on your work in real time, all powered by AI analyzing what you're doing. This could really help you see where you can improve and adjust how you're approaching things. But even though that AI-powered feedback can be really helpful, there's one crucial thing that algorithms just can't do, and that's human mentorship. Having a mentor to guide you, share their experiences, offer advice based on what they've learned in their career. That's something special. The best way to develop employees in the future might be a combination. We'll have those AI-driven insights, and then the wisdom and guidance from a real person, a mentor. Think of it like a dynamic duo, working together to help you reach your full potential. Now, as we figure out this evolving world of work,
We can't forget about the gig economy. This isn't just people doing little side jobs anymore. It's becoming a major part of how people work. By 2025, we're going to see way more people working as freelancers or, as independent contractors. This change brings a whole bunch of challenges and opportunities for HR. Like, on the one hand, managing a workforce with all these freelancers can be pretty tough, making sure they're classified correctly, paying them the right way, and integrating them into the company culture. That all needs a totally new approach. But, on the other hand, think of what's possible. Having access to a whole world of talent. That lets companies find people with really specific skills and expertise without having to hire them full time. It's a win-win, if it's done right. This brings us to another important change, the aging workforce. Baby boomers are getting closer to retirement, and companies are facing the challenge of losing so much knowledge and experience. This brings up a good question. How do we make sure things transition smoothly, and how do we keep all that knowledge that those employees have built up? Well, HR can be a big part of helping with that.
by making it easier for knowledge to be passed down between generations. Think about mentorship programs where experienced employees share what they know with younger colleagues, or maybe initiatives where all those valuable insights and best practices are written down and shared throughout the company. It's about making sure that knowledge keeps getting passed on, even as people who've been with the company for a long time move on. But it's not just about transferring knowledge. It's also about rethinking retirement plans and how we replace people. Instead of people just suddenly leaving, what if retirement was more gradual? Maybe through phased retirement programs, or maybe consulting arrangements. This way, those seasoned employees can slowly step back while still sharing their valuable expertise. And let's not forget about diversity, equity, and inclusion. By 2025, we can expect to see more progress in this area. but there's definitely still work to do. And it's more than just setting quotas for diversity. We need to build a culture where everyone feels like they belong, where everyone feels valued and respected, and where everyone feels like they can use their unique skills and perspectives.
This requires a much bigger approach to DEI, one that goes beyond just surface level stuff and actually makes DEI a part of everything the organization does, from how they hire people to how they develop their leaders. And it needs to be data-driven so we can track progress, see where we need to improve, and hold leaders accountable for making a truly inclusive workplace. All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's becoming a big deal in today's competitive job market: employee experience. With remote and hybrid work becoming more normal, creating a good and engaging employee experience is super important. Think about it. How do you create a strong company culture when everyone's in different places, working at different times? How do you make sure remote employees feel connected and supported and, like they're part of the team? Well, it takes some planning and effort. We need to invest in communication tools that make it easy for remote team members to work together. We need to be clear about what we expect from people who are working remotely. And we need to give them chances to connect with each other virtually. That helps build relationships.
And, it helps prevent people from feeling isolated. And let's not forget about employee well-being. In this crazy, fast-paced world, it's more important than ever to make sure our employees are doing okay. And that means going beyond the usual benefits and taking a more personalized approach. Imagine your benefits are tailored to your specific needs. Do you need mental health support, access to financial wellness programs, help with childcare? The future of employee benefits is all about giving people choices, being flexible, and addressing the many different needs of today's workforce. And how do we make benefits that personal? Through the power of data analytics. Companies can analyze employee data, to find trends and predict what people need. And then they can create benefits packages that are actually useful and valuable for their employees. Now, we've been talking a lot about how AI and other technologies are going to affect HR. But here's a question to think about. What about the role of HR itself? How is that going to change in the next few years? Well, by 2025, the prediction is that HR will become a much more strategic business partner. They won't be stuck doing just administrative tasks. HR professionals are going to need to be data-driven. They'll need to understand the business goals, and they'll need to be actively involved in making decisions that affect the whole organization. They'll need to be able to look at data, see trends, predict challenges, and make suggestions that support the company's strategic goals. It's like HR is moving from being a support function to being a real driver of the company's success. As we, kind of dig deeper into this whole idea of the future of work, it's clear that we're at the beginning of some really big changes. Technology is changing. The people working are changing. And what employees expect is changing too. It's a pretty exciting time to be in HR. And the people who embrace these trends, who adapt, they'll be the ones who really succeed. But with all this talk about AI, automation, all that, it's super important to remember that human element, that human touch, will always be at the core of what HR is all about. Yeah, technology can make us better. It can streamline things, but it can never replace actual human connection, empathy, that understanding. So as you're figuring out your own career path, think about how you can develop the skills you need to do well in this fast-changing world. Embrace the idea of lifelong learning. Really work on those human skills and stay curious about all the possibilities that are out there. The future of work is full of opportunities, especially for those who are willing to change and adapt. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on something that's really connected to this rise of remote and hybrid work. And that's the need for HR to kind of rethink what workplace flexibility means and to create a truly inclusive environment for everyone. This goes beyond just offering, flexible work arrangements. It's about building a sense of belonging, making sure everyone feels connected, even if they're spread out geographically, creating that culture where everyone feels valued and respected and supported no matter where they choose to work from. This might mean investing in those communication tools, the ones that make it easy for people to work together, even if they're remote. It might mean being super clear about expectations for remote work. And it definitely means providing chances for people to interact socially online, to build those relationships and prevent people from feeling isolated. And as we move toward this more flexible, more distributed way of working, it's important to remember that flexibility isn't just about where you work, it's also about when you work. Employees today want more control over their schedules. They want to be able to balance their work with all the other things going on in their lives. And HR can really help with this by offering things like flexible hours, maybe a compressed work week, or even job sharing arrangements. By embracing these flexible ways of working, Companies can attract and keep great employees, but they can also boost morale, productivity, and, just make people happier overall. So you see, the future of work has tons of cool possibilities, but there are definitely some challenges too. HR professionals are going to need to be adaptable, they'll need to be creative, and they'll need to be strategic in how they approach things. That way they can navigate this changing landscape and create a workplace that works for both the employees and the business. Now let's focus on something that's been a hot topic in the business world for a while. Employee experience is a competitive advantage. In today's job market, it's tough to find good people. And companies are realizing that it takes more than just good pay and benefits to attract and keep the best talent. It's about building a workplace where people feel valued, respected, supported. It's about giving them opportunities to grow and learn new things. And it's about fostering that culture of inclusion and belonging, where everyone feels like they can be themselves and, contribute their best work. This focus on employee experience is partly because the workforce itself is changing. Younger generations especially are looking for more than just a job. They want work-life balance, they want their work to have meaning, and they want to work for a company with a good culture. They're not just looking for a paycheck, they're looking for an experience. And here's the interesting part. Companies that prioritize employee experience, they don't just end up with happier employees. They actually see better results overall. Studies have shown that companies with highly engaged employees tend to be more productive, have lower turnover rates, and do better financially. So how can HR help create this positive employee experience? Well, it all starts with listening to employees, understanding what they need and what they expect. This can be done through surveys, focus groups, maybe one-on-one meetings, or any other way of getting feedback. Once you really understand what your employees are looking for, then you can start designing programs and initiatives that actually meet their needs. This might mean offering flexible work arrangements, providing professional development opportunities, setting up mentorship programs, or just fostering that culture of open communication, where people feel comfortable giving and receiving feedback. And don't underestimate the power of small things. Sometimes it's those little gestures that make the biggest difference. A simple thank you note, a recognition award, or even just taking a minute to ask an employee how they're doing. Those things can go a long way in showing that you care. Now, let's talk about another trend that's related to employee experience, this growing demand for really personalized benefits and well-being programs. Employees are more diverse than ever. They have different needs and different preferences. So those old school one-size-fits-all benefits packages just aren't cutting it anymore. Employees today want benefits that fit their specific situation, whether they need help with mental health, financial wellness, family care, or anything else that affects their well-being. They're looking for companies that are willing to invest in their overall health and happiness. This trend is leading to more personalized and flexible benefits. Companies are offering things like flexible spending accounts, health savings accounts, and employee assistance programs. These programs let employees choose the benefits that work best for them. Companies are also investing in well-being programs that address a wider range of needs, like stress management, mindfulness, financial planning, even fitness challenges. And they're using technology to make these programs more personal and easier to access. For example, some companies are using wearable technology to track employees' health data, and then they can offer personalized recommendations. Others are using chatbots powered by AI to provide mental health support, and some are offering virtual wellness programs that employees can join from anywhere. This trend towards personalization is only going to get bigger in the future as technology keeps getting better. And as companies collect more data about their employees, they'll be able to offer even more tailored benefits and well-being programs. All right, so let's dive into a pretty big shift that's happening. The rise of remote and hybrid work. I mean, the pandemic definitely sped this up. And even though some companies have gone back to the office, a lot of them are sticking with this whole, flexible work thing. Whether it's hybrid or fully remote, this change has definitely changed how we work. It's created some challenges, but it's also opened up some cool opportunities for HR. Managing people who are working remotely comes with its own set of, complexities, making sure everyone has the tech they need, keeping communication clear, and holding on to that strong company culture, even when everyone's spread out. That all requires a new way of thinking. But remote work also has a lot of benefits, both for the employees and the employers. Employees usually like the flexibility, the fact that they can kind of work on their own terms. And employers, they can save money on office space. They can find talent from anywhere in the world. And sometimes they even see productivity go up. The key to making remote or hybrid work really work is to build a culture that supports both individual and team productivity. So that means setting clear expectations about communication and how people work together, giving people chances to socialize online, and stay connected. And investing in tech that makes communication and collaboration super easy. It's also important to remember that people who work remotely might need different things compared to those working in the office. Some people love working alone, while others need more social interaction. Being flexible and accommodating those individual needs is really important for making everyone feel supported and part of the team. Speaking of a changing workforce, we can't ignore this whole gig work and freelance thing that's going on. More and more people are choosing to work as independent contractors, freelancers, instead of going for those traditional full-time jobs. This is happening for a few reasons. People want flexibility. They want to be their own boss. It's easy to find work online these days. And there's a growing need for specific skills that these freelancers often have. This trend brings some challenges and opportunities for HR. Managing a bunch of freelancers can be tricky. You got to make sure they're classified right, paid correctly, and that they feel like they're part of the company culture. But on the plus side, having access to this global pool of talent means companies can find people with the exact skills they need without having to hire them full time. It's all about finding that balance and the right approach for each company. Finally, let's talk about how the role of HR itself is changing. For a long time, people saw HR as mostly administrative, dealing with payroll, benefits, that kind of stuff. But as the world of work gets more complex, HR is stepping up. They're playing a more strategic role in helping businesses succeed. HR professionals are being asked to provide insights on talent management, how to develop the organization, and how to keep employees engaged. They're playing a key role in shaping company culture, and they're directly impacting the company's bottom line. This move towards a more strategic role means HR professionals need new skills. They need to be comfortable with data, they need to be analytical, and they need to be able to think strategically. They need to really understand the business and its goals and make sure HR is aligned with those goals. Being able to communicate and collaborate effectively is super important too. You got to build relationships with people all across the organization and be able to influence decision making. The good news is that a lot of HR professionals are already doing this. They're learning about data analytics. They're getting better at understanding the business side of things. And they're working closely with other leaders to make strategic decisions. As HR keeps evolving, it's becoming clear that it's not just about managing people anymore. It's about creating a workplace where people can actually thrive. It's about making sure they have the opportunity to do their best work, feel valued, and be appreciated. And that's what makes the future of HR so exciting. So, wrapping up our deep dive into the future of HR, it's obvious that we're about to enter this whole new world of work. It's a world where technology is changing everything, where employees want different things, and where people from all over the globe are looking for work that's flexible, work that fits their individual needs, and work that gives them a sense of purpose. From AI changing how we do things, to this rise of remote work and the gig economy, all these trends point to an HR world that's dynamic, kind of complex, but also full of possibilities. But with all these changes happening, let's not forget about the most important thing, the human factor. As we use new technology and change how we work, it's crucial to remember the people who are driving it all. Because at the end of the day, HR is all about people. It's about creating that workplace where everyone feels valued, respected, where they feel empowered to do their best. It's about building a culture of collaboration, innovation, a culture where everyone feels like they belong and has a chance to succeed. So as you're figuring out your own career path, remember to be curious, be adaptable, and most importantly, be human. The future of work is bright, and those who understand the importance of human connection will be the ones who shape it. And that includes our deep dive into the future of HR.
Hope you found this exploration insightful, got you thinking a little bit. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep into this ever-changing world of work.